Hey,
Hey, there you are,
uh,
more or less.
more or less, yeah. That looks like it might work. A little less smudgy, maybe. Beautiful.
Good morning.
Probably won't fall out of the closet. Okay. Good morning.
Yeah, I have the camera in the closet to
Yeah.
get a little distance.
Yeah. How are
So,
you?
what?
I said, how are you?
I'm very well.
Nice. Excellent.
I'm feeling well. Um,
Awesome.
and I'm glad to say I am. It's my birthday.
Dude, I'm awful at birthdays. Happy birthday, David.
Happy birthday, Andrew.
Awesome.
What
Congratulations.
what day is yours?
April 2nd.
April 2nd.
Yeah.
I can't keep track.
No, no. I every year I'm like I should put everyone's
Yeah.
birthday in my phone and like have it remind me.
Yeah.
And I've been telling myself that for like 12 years. So
Only 12.
only 12, yeah. So one of these days, well, happy birthday, David.
Well, yeah, I've been working on that for a lot longer than that. I've gotten to where I depend on Facebook to tell me.
See that I think that's what I used to do, and now I don't really, I go on Facebook like once a month,
Oh,
So now I go on and I'm like, oh, that would have been good to know.
well, I check every 2 or 3 days and see if there are any birthdays. So,
Nice. Awesome.
how are the Chili's?
They're great. They're great. No, they're good. They're good. Today's just been really fun.
Oh, one of those difficult days.
Yeah, just no one, you know,
No one's happy.
every yeah, no one's happy. Everything's wrong. Any recommendation is met with just screaming, "Stop!"
And does that get them anywhere?
No, no, it doesn't. But
Well, there will come a time when they stop screaming.
I, yeah, yep. Some very small part of my brain is like, eventually you'll wish they talked more to you. Like,
Yeah. Yes,
yeah.
that's
So
true. Our two boys are, or Jane's two boys are so different that
yeah,
way. Zach, we talk to Zach probably 4 or 5 times a week.
nice. Yeah, yeah,
Dylan once a week if we're lucky.
yeah,
My
yeah.
son Matt once a month if we're lucky.
Uh, I
So
don't.
that's
Yeah,
just the way it is.
right.
So cold enough for you?
It, it feels like it's been pretty warm, but last night was really cold. So I don't know what happened there. I
Yeah,
don't. It was weird.
that's what I meant. It's gotten cold.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't really had the time to even notice.
Oh, one of those mornings.
Yeah.
Well, and didn't you once want 6 children?
I not really, really.
Oh, okay. That was a fantasy.
Yes. Yeah. Much like everything else.
Yes, reality catches up with us now and then.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's let's do a little.
Sure.
Well, the team Shaw certainly likes your energy this morning.
Yeah. That's good.
So, how's your Dallas spine stretch going?
Okay. I've only done it, I didn't practice it a quarter as much as I wanted to, but um, I think I'm doing a little better with actually getting all the way over. Um, I oddly, if I don't try to go too slow, I feel like I end up in a nicer shape. But um, so yeah, still kind of playing with it, but I really only did it like 3 times. You know,
So, clearly the purpose here is not a nicer shape.
right? Like but that's what was weird was like I was like, okay, I feel like it looks, you know what I mean? Like it looks nicer, but I didn't, you know, feel as nice about what was happening. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would like to. I don't know what I literally don't understand how 2 weeks has passed since the last class. So, um, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh wow, that a half month went by. Interesting. So I don't have a lot to report.
Okay. Andrew, I'll just a side note here that those 2 weeks go faster and faster as
That's
you
the
age.
that's the trend I'm noticing. Yeah.
they they don't often slow down.
No. No.
um, well, do you have a sense of what would help you here?
Honestly, for that, probably just doing it right.
Yep.
I think. Um,
I'm thinking of how I can help you.
I know you're right. Right. Going going through it is helpful.
Yep.
Last time. I'm also. Um, I guess I always have a. If there's any, getting a better sense of. Uh, Kind of the pathway or what am I trying to say? It's like a larger awareness around not just sinking it, but actually essentially making sure it like gets out of my feet and my, all the way down and out. Because I feel like with a lot of stuff, whenever we're sinking something, I get it to like, okay, it's going down the side of my leg, and I'm kind of like, good enough. um, and
No.
I don't know if it's just a matter of I feel like it gets to my knees, and then maybe I'm not in the best position, weighted with. Um, so I feel like it gets to my knees, and I kind of just lose track of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
Okay. So, um, when you're thinking of getting the chi to drop, to sink in your body,
Hmm.
there are two things you can do that will almost always help,
Okay.
always help me. Um, One is to let your weight subtly sink into the heel,
Hmm.
into Shimian. And the other is to twist everything outward.
Okay.
Um, and those two things, if you can, if you can get them to clearly function for you, they will cause the energy to drop in the
Okay.
body.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, intent, structure, releasing tension, all the things that we've talked about over the last 10
Yeah.
years
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that affect the movement of the chi in the body are involved here. But those two things can really help. Um, that's interesting. One of my questions to you today was going to be how well do you think you are sinking the chi um, in your body, and how far down your body? And
Okay.
you
Gotcha.
answered that question.
Yeah.
Um, and it's it's such an important part of the total movement of the energy that's why it's the first step in the standing posture, which is the first posture of this qigong.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's really the very first thing you really want to try to actually accomplish.
Hmm.
And like everything else, it try doesn't work very well. Allow will be much more effective.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, Easy for me to say. I grant you. Maybe not so easy. And so if it's getting stuck in your knee or stopped at your knee, you probably need to look at knee alignment
Hmm.
and also having the intention for the energy to drop through the back of the knee, because the 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 front and sides of the knee are bone, and at this stage, you're not ready to move the energy through the bone yet. We do that eventually, but not yet. So it will pass much more easily through that soft back part of your knee.
Okay.
So you really want to focus to that intention, and then of course how your feet are connecting with the earth make a difference in how it flows through your feet and into the etheric body below your feet.
Hmm.
So alignment of knees and ankles and feet might be something to really try to feel, um, that that you have them in a position that you feel is opening rather than blocking.
Yeah. Yeah. Um.
And you know, that part of the leg, probably even more than the thigh and the hip, become difficult, a little more difficult to get the energy to move through, simply because all your weight is on your legs.
Okay. I guess because like that, I guess that makes me feel better because that's kind of what it feels like. Of it's like, oh, open and relax and let go of the tension, um, and the I'm so bad at anatomy. Whatever muscle is on your lower leg on the back is
Yep.
like, yeah, that's nice. I'm holding you up, so no, and it's you know, um, So yeah,
So one of the things is that when you get into the proper alignment, those muscles will start to let go. Notice the word start.
right.
You're not, you're not, and neither am I, at the level where I can totally support myself with my energy.
Right.
Um, so I'm not expecting that you will be there. You might be one of those people who can right away, but uh, probably not. So recognizing that, like everything else, it goes in small steps.
Hmm.
You, so, of course, our Western mind says, oh, "Do it all now."
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but no, if you can get it to release a little bit, it will let more energy go through, and that will allow you to release a little bit more, and it will build.
Yeah.
But it is a progression.
Yeah. Um, that helps. Yeah. I guess I don't have anything else to say about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so so the other thing I was going to say was that if trying to sink the chi, dissolve the area, and relax it is too much stuff going on at the moment,
Okay.
that you can just start with, one of them. So just sink the chi out of the area you're focusing on,
Mm.
and just do it with that. And when you get to a point where it feels like sinking the chi is reasonably fluid, then begin to focus on each of those areas in terms of dissolving. And the next stage of this training is that we actually go back to the standing posture in the beginning and begin to actually focus on identifying energetic blockages, not only in the energy gates, but in the spaces between them, and releasing those blockages.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you will get more um, information and practice on dissolving, which will probably help dissolving anything that's in the spine.
Yeah. I guess I do have when we're doing not this, like in the standing when you're just standing, scanning down, finding blockages and dissolving that way. One, what is that called?
Outer dissolving is what
Okay.
we'll be working on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I it's really important in that to not go backwards. I
Yep.
remember that, right?
Yep.
Is that true here as well? Because I feel like, and I don't know if it's just because of the maybe because of the structure's not right. Um, like I'll move up to maybe like the middle of my spine, right, somewhere there,
Uh huh.
and then I'll feel like trying to sink down, like oh maybe that lower piece here isn't as released and dissolved as I thought it was, because it feels like okay, it feels like now that's holding up what I'm doing above. Should I not go backwards down my spine?
You should not go backwards down your spine.
Okay. Because I definitely do.
But you should, ideally, after you complete the whole Taoist spine stretch, you should do it again,
Right. Okay.
because now you have recognized something that you can focus on when you go back to it, that you weren't able to focus on the first time.
Right.
And
Okay.
that may help release the whole spine.
Right. Because I definitely have find myself doing that. It's not like it's a like, oh, I'm going to go fix it, but it's just like, oh, that's in the way. I need to get it out of the way. Um, but then I'm like going up and down a lot instead of
No,
just yeah. Okay, that's
no.
good. Oh, and then the other thing, and maybe it's I just forgot it. For outer dissolving, I always thought it was just whatever it is, ice to water, water to gas, and then I always just like released it out.
hmm
But this is very like sink it.
So,
Yeah.
so that's also ideally releasing and resolving it out. But now you're being a little more specific about it.
Okay. Um.
And it may, well, see, there's no one single answer, of course, to
Yeah.
any of this stuff. Um, it may just release out. And if that's what it wants to do, let it go.
Okay.
But we really now we will be in the in the next stage, um, really thinking about releasing down through the body, through the feet into the earth, through the etheric body into the earth, eventually.
hmm
Um, and that's really in the long run, that is more energetically efficient in terms of what happens with the energy. Um, and that pathway is, well, no, I won't say that. What I started to say is that pathway, when you really get it opened up, going up and down through the whole body, connecting to the etheric body above and the etheric body below the feet, um, that's really gets to be a wide open passage, um, more so than going out. We have, um, for instance, in God's Play in the Clouds, we have a couple of the movements which specifically work with spreading the energy out and feeling the etheric body out to the sides. But it's really harder than going through the body and into the earth or above the head.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but um, it's not a block. It just is a little more difficult initially, certainly, to feel.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
that makes sense. You
um,
know, as
on the other hand, I say something like that, what I just said, and there are people that are completely different.
gotcha. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are
Right.
people for whom going out is probably easier than going through their body.
hmm
I mean,
Right.
I can't say I've particularly run into somebody like that, but I'm sure there are people like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like eventually in these practices you discover that almost everything that you do can be done in either way. Take breathing, for example. Um, we, we, we work on specific alignments of the breath with the movement, Well, that's one way. The other is to do it in the opposite way. And
Right.
there are people. I have this. I have, for instance, with um, well, Shell and Carol, who've been with me for 27 years, something like that. And we're working on gods now, and we're pretty well into it. We're about three-quarters of the way through the training in gods. And every once in a while, Carol finds that doing reversing the breathing in terms of its relationship. I'm not talking about doing reverse breathing,
Yeah.
which we also do, but she finds that reversing the pattern works way better for her,
Hmm.
and that's fine. So almost anything I tell you might also function in the opposite way.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's, but you know, I would not have said that to you 5 years ago.
Right.
Uh, but so you have to. I guess that it comes down to the fact that we have to constantly remind ourselves that we are endeavoring to learn to feel something and not think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's hard for us sometimes.
Yeah. No, I definitely get hung up on, is it right?
Yeah.
Not just what, what is it doing? Um, you know, because I got it. Uh, I'm excited for the next piece because I think the other part of it too is like I get to my feet, I'm like, cool, it's out of my feet. Where'd it go? It doesn't. It didn't go away. You know, it's out of. It's out of. But you know, I just have that piece in my head of like, yeah, but where'd it go? Like, why'd I? You know?
You mean you feel it? Sometimes you feel it get to your feet and leave your feet, and
Yeah,
you.
yeah, right. Like when I you know I can out of my fingertips or out of my
Huh?
toes or out of my heel, but you know, because like I know there's that you should be able to have a sense of it going through the ethereal body and like leaving that. So and because it kind of just stops, and I know it's going there, and I should. I'm like, where did where'd it go? You know.
So let go of should. Uh,
Yeah. Okay.
um, so
Good.
feeling feeling the etheric body below your feet is can be difficult. We feel the sense of the earth beneath our feet.
Mm.
And I think part of that is that the earth is a concrete image, and we think we know what that is. Um, but do we feel the energy of the earth? Well, that's another question. Um, but if you feel it leave your feet, that's a really good step, because that means you've been able to release it out of your body, at least into the etheric body. Whether it has gone on beyond the etheric body and into the earth is another step.
Right. Right.
And you understand that the intention of that is that um, when you drop energy out of your body into the earth, it's energy that the body can't use well, and it's cleansed in the earth, and eventually not necessarily return to your body, but it returns to somebody as usable energy.
Right. I understand the words you're saying.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a great sense.
You don't believe them. No.
I haven't experienced them, so and I think that's, you know, that's that question of like where did it go,
Yeah.
right? Because like okay, but no, because I get the sense of it going out of my body, and that's where that sense ends. And like, um, very occasionally I'll get some sense of something, of it. I don't know the ethereal body. I guess it's like once every 2 months, and I'm like, what was that? and then so yeah, yeah.
So, I would imagine that at some point you've had a sense in being near somebody, um, th- either that either that sense of um, somebody has invaded your space,
Mm,
and you feel those moments when you feel like you want to step back
yeah.
from
Yeah.
somebody. Um, that's an experience of the etheric body. Um,
Yeah. Right.
um, I think connecting to someone you love, um, there is a real sense of the connection of the etheric bodies in a positive sense.
Hmm.
Um, so you can draw on those too, as ways to begin to have a sense of that. Because the more you're aware of that, the more you feel it as you move through life, both the inside and outside of your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and you, as I did when I went to see the Dalai Lama, I suddenly had an awareness that um, an etheric body could be huge.
Yeah.
It didn't like it does for me, and 2 or 3 feet out here to the side. Uh, it could encompass an auditorium,
Yeah.
uh, and that too helps, I think, to have had that experience.
Right. I'll just call him up.
Yeah,
Where
right.
he's going. The hand.
Yeah. But there are other people who
Yeah.
can give you that sense too.
Yeah.
I don't know. So there's just some thoughts.
Hmm.
Um, so I think I should watch you do this.
Sounds good.
And so I'd like to see you from the side,
Hmm.
and um, and just think of sinking your chi from at each of the places that you're focusing on. So you don't have to,
Okay. Yeah.
and there's no rush.
Right.
So, how did you feel about that?
Okay, and then not okay, and then I gave up on trying to make it, whatever, and then a lot better about it. It was, I was like, I felt like I had an okay start, and then up near here, um, it felt awful. Like I wanted to give up and just start over. Um,
Why did you want to give up and start over?
I just, uh, I felt like I had started standing up again, and
Yep.
like there was a ton of tension in like my where my sacrum meets my glutes. I don't know,
Uh huh.
right around there. Um, it, uh, yeah, the whole thing just felt wrong. I felt like I rushed it, and then like just I had a lot of thoughts about how like it wasn't right. Um, and then I gave up. Of like, okay, well, like I'm just gonna finish. Like,
Good.
whatever. Like, I'm done trying. Um, and then it felt really good for going up and opening the head, and then standing up was like awkward at the start, and then again I was just like, it doesn't matter, just finish the thing. And then it felt way better. So I don't know. You know.
Yeah, it's interesting because I saw all of that,
Yeah.
even on Zoom.
Yeah. Right.
Um, it did look like it started well. I had the same feeling, and somewhere around the middle of your back, it just felt like you were going up and down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and instead of always going down,
Right.
um, and and then yes, the one really good thing I was going to say is that you didn't seem to droop your head
Hmm.
going down, and then you had a good bend in the cervical neck. That seemed actually, you're right. That seemed a really good area. Um, and then when you came up, um, I think the only thing I would say about the coming up really was to be careful about making sure that your head goes up and not back.
Okay.
There was a little bit of tendency to go back as you were doing it. The
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah, the other thing that might help is maybe not sinking as much.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The sink can be really minimal
Okay.
and just a little drop. Not just it can be tiny. It's just part of the release,
Mm-hmm.
um, and does help the energy to sink. The other thing that I was going to add in today that I didn't give you before, and might help everything, is when you're doing the posterior spine, when you're going down to twist outward and keep the weight on Shimion, on your heel.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're coming up, let the weight move to your bubbling well or towards your toes and twist inward
Oh,
all the time while you're coming up.
okay. Still syncing everything though.
Um, so really the energy is rising when you're coming up as well as sinking.
Okay.
So it's sinking from your dantian, but it's rising up your spine,
Okay.
which is
That sounds-
why, which is why, when you get to the cervical neck, the cervical vertebra, you begin to really feel energy flowing into your arms and hands,
Mhm.
and you can really feel the energy at the crown of the head in Bai Hui when you are going up.
Okay. That makes that part make way more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that you are, it's interesting that you open the vertebra from bottom to top both times, but the energy's moving in different directions.
Yeah. Yeah, I will need to play with being aware of that. um see see how that goes. Um but yeah. Okay. Cool.
Does that confuse you?
No, no. I'm just trying to think um which is probably the problem. So
Well, yes,
uh
no. I mean, I, I think that a certain amount of thinking is important, and having our discussions about what you're thinking about is really good. The difficulty is letting go of that thinking and just doing it.
right. Right. No, because it still has to, be going down. So it feels like the same conversation about shifting the weight of I would always push away. And it's like, well, why don't you just push the energy towards where you're going? Of if I'm trying to sink while I'm going up the spine, I can just pull the energy up, and that will push the energy. So just trying to
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's okay. That works. Um,
Well, the thing to remember is, um, and this comes up. I probably said this before, and I think it comes up in the uh, when we go a little further in the standing. But there are somewhere, and there is not complete agreement about this, but there's somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 different energy flows in the body.
okay.
So the primary ones that we're working with at the moment are that there is always an energy flow from the universe through to the earth and from the earth through to the universe. So those full flows all the way are always in process. At the same time, we also have the movement from the dantian to the extremities and the etheric bodies and back into the dantian all the time.
Hmm.
So the fact that you're focusing on energy rising up your spine and sinking from your dantian into the earth is not, I think, incomprehensible. It just is
Yeah.
being aware of two of the many different energy flows that are going on.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
um, I don't think we should do anything else with these today.
Okay.
Other than, do you have any questions in Cloud Hands?
Um, Not really. I've just been kind of doing it. I guess. Um, yeah. I guess I don't. How do those? It feels like we're doing like three. I don't see how they connect. Like, I mean, obviously, it's nice to. I can see the benefits. Is all good. But do they connect, or are they all just pieces to work on?
You mean these different postures,
Yeah,
different
yeah.
practices?
Which like has nothing to do, isn't specific to Cloud Hands, but you know,
No, it isn't. So,
sorry.
what's really interesting in this particular practice in energy gates, you're right. You have the standing work, which is going to get more complex as we move further into it, um, and Cloud Hands, and then the three swings that we haven't done yet, and they seem like three separate things.
Hmm.
And in a way, they are. But in some other ways, they are not. But what actually ultimately melds them together is the spine stretch.
How? And like if it's I'm not there yet, that's fine too. But you know, I'm like, this is clearly a really neat thing that you know it, everything else I like Dragon and Tiger or whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, like I can kind of feel it. And this is like you feel it. You know what I mean? And which kind of feels helpful for noticing stuff happening in the other postures. And I don't know, like, is that the way it melds together? But I'm not like swinging my arms around when I'm doing a spine stretch. So just yeah.
So
I'm curious about that.
what's happening is that each of the three parts of this before the spine stretch works on different parts of what you're endeavoring to do. The primary one of which is to open all of the energy gates of the body. I mean, that's what this is about.
Right.
And they each work on that in different ways. So the standing work is endeavoring to locate the blockages in the body and to release them and eventually resolve them, and therefore open up the ability for the energy to flow through them. Cloud Hands, which is actually considered to be the most comprehensive single movement in all of the practices that we do, is really working on getting that energy to move through the body, to bring to clear awareness the feeling of the energy coming in and out of the body and through the pathways that the energy gates actually control.
Okay.
And then the three swings really work on opening up what's called the triple warmer. Have we talked about the triple warmer before?
Is that this thing here?
Well, three parts of the body.
Okay. Gotcha.
So the upper burner or upper warmer, as it's known, um, encompasses the heart and the lungs and the head, and the arms, of course. And the middle warmer really is the area of the digestive organs,
Hmm.
and also liver and spleen, which are extremely important. Um, you don't want to do without them. And then the lower warmer, of course, is the um, organs of excretion and sex, and the legs.
Hmm.
And the balance of the triple warmer is essential for the body's overall function, and is often the way that, for instance, in acupuncture, they're able to treat many things, is working through those particular energetic pathways. Um, so the three swings are working in opening up the triple warmer and getting it flowing and balanced.
Okay, gotcha.
And then the spine stretch is taking all of that and making it flow smoothly and comfortably together.
Gotcha. That makes more sense. And is helpful to. um,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a really important qigong. Um, Bruce says that it contains 60% or more of the energetics that appear in Taiji. So, it's important to us from that standpoint, as well as its basic um, health and functional benefits.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
that is that enough about that?
I think so. Yeah. It just puts a little reminds me of the context of why these pieces exist. Um,
Well, yeah, it's when you first do this, um, it's like you feel like you're working on these separate bits, and how do they go together?
right. I mean, like if you ask me, like, "Hey, what are the energy gates?" I'd be like, I like. I think I recall they're like where it's like every joint is one and all that. But like that was like the beginning, and then it's like, okay, now we're gonna do this stuff. I'm like, cool, cool. So what? And then, but it makes sense because if it can't move stuff around, you can't work on specific parts, have stuff moving. So, but yeah, yeah. No,
Did you look at that thing I sent to you at all?
I looked at it for like 4 minutes before class. Um,
Yeah, you don't. I didn't. That's something that's going to be a reference that we'll use over a period of time,
okay.
maybe a long time. um, and that pinpoints um, the major energy gates in the body.
Gotcha.
Excuse me a minute, my son's call. Oh,
Okay.
no, I missed. He hung up. No,
Gotcha.
he doesn't very often call me, so
Yeah.
I'll call him after class.
Sure.
So my feeling is not to do more in energy gates at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. I think I need to get this stretch more
Yeah,
down.
and use the standing. Just, I mean, even if you only do it for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. So it's funny. Like I say, right. I do of like throughout the week. I do a lot of like, oh, I got like a moment.
Yeah,
I'll just do like a little thing. So like when I say, I only, it's not like I'm doing nothing, but it's not not getting a lot of like, I'm gonna go and just do this. You know, it's
Yeah.
like the kettle's on. That's I'm
Yep.
waiting for Lyra to like brush her teeth for 30 minutes. So I'm hearing a lot about dragons while I do it, or whatever. But yeah, yeah,
No, Andrew, I completely understand. Believe me,
well,
I guess a little beyond that, or a little past where your children are at the moment. But when I got together with Jane, the boys were, I think, 3 and 5 or 6. I don't know where their birthdays were at that moment, but so I remember those days.
yeah,
And there were days when I couldn't do anything.
yeah, yeah.
So I am completely sympathetic,
Thank you.
and I think also, it's also part of why I think I felt that we shouldn't try to do this class every week, because I don't think you have time to absorb an every week
Yeah,
class right now.
yeah. I think it would I'd be like, what'd you do? And I'm like, like remembered it existed. Like, that yeah. Usually the weekend in between, I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah. So you do what you can, and
yeah.
I'll try not to rush.
I
Uh,
well, I always like learning new things. So
oh, I
uh,
know,
you know, so uh,
but you don't want to learn new things and forget what you've done before.
well, so funny story. That's kind of I'm really good at that. That's gonna happen anyways, David.
Oh,
No, no, no. I fully understand.
yeah. Listen, yesterday I was looking because I discovered that I had never put that what I sent to you, the energy gates, into my computer. I just had it in uh, one of my many folders of things that I printed up for class down here, and I have 2 stacks like this of what I used to print for class.
Right.
They are in alphabetical order, fortunately,
Oh, nice.
and I just had to go through and find this one thing, and as I went through, I kept finding things that I have taught in the past that I haven't taught for years, and I completely forgot. Yeah, we're all there.
Yeah.
So, uh, how we want to do a little form work?
Yeah. If you have time for that,
I do.
okay.
I do. That's part of what I wanted to do, was not. Um, excuse me, just a second.
Yeah, yeah. Take your time.
Oh, he was calling to wish me happy birthday.
Gotcha.
I'll call him back.
Okay.
Um, so,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna answer when you asked me how's it going. So,
well, no, my question is, what would be helpful?
um, it's I don't. I'm looking forward to spring, David, when I can, hopefully, when I can come to class. Uh, probably just doing it, but I can't do it here. Um, probably. I have no idea. I have no idea. Probably just going through it together, and I will just reset 14 times, and that's
Okay.
okay. And
And
uh,
yet, when it gets a little warmer, you can come here. We can do it outside.
right, yeah, yeah. Hopefully, I don't see why we wouldn't, but not gonna promise anything. But yeah, that that would probably be the most helpful. Um, if
Yeah.
I so
Okay. I'm perfectly willing to do that. Do have to get to the other camera though. There we go. Okay. Maybe. Begin Taiji. So spiraling down into the left, stepping out empty with the right heel, and rotating and rising to Pung. Slowly sink, twist in, thrust out Ji. Ryu. Rising slowly on, pushing down. Shift left and separate, release. Turn the right leg. Shift onto it, embrace the moon. Rotate in, step forward, shift forward, twist step to ward off left. Shift on to the left, rotate and reset, sink into the right and up to ward off right. And rotate out and then in, roll back, sink, turn and sink back, twisting in, twisting out as you rise, back and down, in, out, and sitting back. Rotate, embrace the moon. Rotate onto the right leg and step back with the left. Shift, extend, twist step, and single whip. Rotate right on the left heel, then the right toe, drop the right heel and rise. Lift hand. Turn on the right heel, rotate and shift onto it and up. And then sinking back to base level, turning right, draw in, step forward, and brush knee left. Shift forward, reset, sink back into the right foot and up, lay peepaw. And draw the left in and step forward, brush knee. And back, turn, embrace the moon. Twisting in, step, and brush knee right. And back, turn, shift, step, and brush knee left again. Shift forward, reset, sit down into the right, and play peepaw. And pull in again, and step and brush knee left. Then sitting back, arms equalize, rotate to embrace the moon, forming the fist, shift forward, rotate through and kick with the right, elbow strike, back fist, pull the fist in and step and shift forward and punch. And withdraw and push downward. Sit back, turn on the left heel. Rotate rising to cross hands. Release the left quad, bring the right leg back. Rotate the right arm, pulling down. Turn on the left toe. Sit back into the left foot. Draw in, step to the rear corner. Shift, arms separate a little, and then rotate, twist step, and return tiger to the mountain. Rotate back and down, forward and up, ward off, and roll back, sink, turn, sinking back and down, forward and up to press, and push downward. And then sit back, turn, embrace the moon. Rotate back onto the right foot and step to the corner, shift, and single whip to the front corner. Sitting back, turn on the left leg, step forward, rotate, ear strike, shift, folding in, rotate, touch the left toe forward, and turn left, rising slightly to punch. And then rotate right, draw in, and step back to repulse monkey. Draw in, step back and repulse monkey. Draw in and step back, repulse that monkey. Draw in and step forward, shift, twist, step, expand out to diagonal flying. Shift forward, arms fold in a little, reset, sit back and down, and rise to lift hand. And turn up. Then rotate back down to base level, step and shift and ward off left. Shift in and kick and hit. Draw back in and step and ward off right. Draw in, kick and hit, and step back, turn and spin on the right toe, and kick with the left heel. And then embrace the moon as you step, shift forward, and brush knee. Sit back and turn, embrace the moon. Shift, step, and brush knee right. Shift back and turn. Embrace the moon. Step forward. Sink as you shift forward. Turn and punch down. And then rising, pull the fist up, rotate on the right toe, step around with the left, and another back fist. Pull down through that S curve, draw in, kick with the heel, elbow strike, back fist, step, and punch. And withdraw, and embrace the moon. Shift onto the left and kick with the right heel. And as you put the foot down, you turn left, which is a little tricky. And then you push outward as you rotate onto the right foot. And you go to 100% so that you can open that right quad and reset the left foot to the rear corner. Embrace the moon. Shift on to the left and rotate to hit the tiger. Questions?
Yeah, after Repel Monkey, I feel like we skipped.
I might have.
Okay. Okay. Because I definitely have never done that thing at the end there.
No. I know you hadn't.
Okay. Yeah, no, which is fine. It's always fun to just go along. But, because after Repel Monkey, we didn't do Needle at Sea Bottom, right?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Needle at Sea Bottom and then like Cloud Hands.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
And I like haven't done it in so long that I was like, because I know right around there's a spot I always forget.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this kind of feels like that spot. And then, yeah.
So we go to diagonal flying. We shift forward. We do lift hand. And then we turn. Yeah, and I went here. When I got here, instead of going, yes, I did jump. Absolutely.
Okay.
So from here, you're right, we go to brush knee and then shift forward and into needle. Oh my goodness. One of those days, huh?
Yeah.
So rise, step, shift, expand, rotate to fan through the back, turn, and chop with fist. And yeah, I realized that I had left this out. The first deflect, intercept, and punch. And then we go to ward off right. And then into single whip.
Right.
And that's where we go into cloud hands. So turning on the left heel, turn on the right heel, step forward, and in, step out, step in, step out, step in and step forward and back, single whip. And that's where we went.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Good for you, Andrew. I don't know why I skipped that.
Yeah. It's funny because I thought the part where we departed, I was like, oh, isn't that Needle at Sea Bottom? Because I forgot about ward off right. So, I don't know what it is. I just don't remember that little piece is right there. That's how I knew it was off.
Hey, as you saw,
Yeah.
it's possible for me to forget.
Yeah.
Believe me, I have trouble some days keeping all my forms because I have several forms that I'm working on at the moment.
Right.
No excuse, however. So, other than that, do you have other questions?
No, no. Having the guideposts, I felt pretty good about stuff.
Good,
Yeah.
great. Um, so, I don't know. It doesn't seem like we really should add anything at the moment.
Probably not. It would probably get lost. I can try. You know. Um, I I will try to find some time to make sure so that we can. I feel like we got to the end of the first paragraph and then I kind of was like neat and um, which is I tend to do that a lot. I'm like, oh, I did one part of it, so I'm all done. But yeah,
Well, it's a good start. The problem is
yeah.
that we tend to do that first paragraph over and over and over and over, and we don't practice the others as much.
I have always had trouble with with everything, where
Yeah.
it's like you always do the beginning, so that's all I remember.
So it's a good thing to just start at cross hands and do the second paragraph
Right, right,
so that you kind of knock that out of your head.
right. So yeah, I think I'll try to. I'm saying it, so maybe it'll make me do it. Practice that a little bit so that maybe next class we can just start with the second paragraph. Because I don't think I've really gone into it at all. So
Okay.
okay,
Well, and we can maybe even add another posture.
yeah. No, that's what I'm saying.
If I can do it in the right order.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. Sounds like
it's
a plan.
good to see you.
Yeah. Nah.
Yeah, I hope that we, we can do this in person before too long. I think that'd be very helpful.
I know. Yeah. I think especially for a lot of this stuff, the energy work. Yeah. I haven't talked to Kai about it, but I don't see why why we wouldn't. So yeah, that would be nice. It's been years, right?
Yes, it has at this point.
Crazy.
Nothing much we could do about that.
No.
We had to all stay safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just saying yesterday in class how nice it was, though, for like 3 years not to have had a cold or a flu or anything.
I people some people are like, oh, I hated wearing the mask, and like I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna stop. You know what I mean? Like probably, but like yeah, I haven't. The most I've gotten is just honestly, it's probably like allergies to dust or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Or just not enough fresh air. Like
yeah. Not enough fresh air yet.
I've not had a sore throat, a cold, a fever, and
Yeah.
so
Isn't
turns out,
I'm going to keep wearing my mask. I don't care what people think.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny, it's commonplace in other countries. So
Yeah. So why not here,
yeah,
particularly now, and with the other things that are on the horizon? Um,
I know.
might as well.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that would be nice. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
All right. Happy birthday.
Thank you, and say hi to your whole lovely family.
Kaya says hi.
Okay, I say hi to her back.
Okay.
Thanks.
Awesome. Have a
Take
nice
care.
day.
You too. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.